Let's go. It is a new week and I am excited. I hope you guys are just as excited as me. I'm going to go ahead and send this in the Telegram. I got to change the title. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete this and resend it. Okay. Let's pull up gold. I specifically only want to focus on gold because this is going to be the only pair or currency that I'm going to be looking for this week. So this is why I'm just going to be focusing on gold. What's good, Sanjay? What is good? Basically, what I'm going to be doing is just breaking down gold because this is the only commodity, only thing that I'm going to be looking at this week to trade. And for the past couple of weeks, we can just even see what's happening here on gold on the monthly time frame. And we've been keying gold. If you go back to the past live sessions, we've just been keying this move here on gold, this bullish move, anticipating gold to break for a new high at this 2082 levels. Now, why do we anticipate that? So gold had been creating higher highs and higher lows in the past. And I want to look at the monthly time frame because we only have 2 days and 2 hours left until the new monthly starts. This week we actually have FOMC and we have NFP this week. So that means we have a lot of volume that we can be expecting this week, which is great because that means we will have a lot of high volatile moves that we can capitalize on, which means our high risk to reward trades. So anyways, gold has been creating higher highs and higher lows. It recently made a new high at 2081. Well, not recently, but here in May, it created a new high at 2081 levels. Now, this 2081 high broke the previous two highs that gold had created, making 2081 the all-time high. Now, after breaking this area here, we not only broke this area, but we had closed above these highs here. So you can see gold have finally closed above these highs here. We broke for the 2081 level to create these new highs, or breaking these previous highs. And then what we got was a corrective structure. Now on the monthly time frame, we immediately got a bullish reaction here, and it started on NFP at the beginning of October. We talked about how NFP prior to is generally it always adds volume, but it can change the overall structure. So when we start dialing it down to the smaller time frame, being more so the daily time frame, we're going to take a look at here. We can see that when price came down to this 19, roughly, I think it was like 1910 level, or 1810, excuse me, level of resistance here, we had an immediate bullish reaction off of the NFP Friday at the beginning of this month. And you can see that reaction here by this bullish daily candle that closed. So what we seen after that and what we were anticipating after that was a corrective structure to at least 1884. That's where we went ahead and took profits on the first trade that we took for gold. We closed at 1884. Now, when gold, we had CPI, and when gold tapped into 1884, CPI news had released. We got a corrective structure on the 4-hour time frame. You can see on the 4-hour time frame, we got this corrective structure. And that Friday, gold push, I think it was it Thursday? I think it was a Friday. Yeah, so that Friday, gold on the daily time frame had more volume in that one Friday candle than we had seen that entire week. So we knew going into the weeks after that gold can continue to push bullish because we just have so much volume. And then we understood where we were at based on this larger time frame, that gold had created a new high. We got a corrective structure at resistance. We got a bullish signal. Now it's likely that gold goes and breaks for a new high, breaking the 2082 levels, 2081 levels. This is why it says something wrong. Can you guys hear me okay? Let's see. Let me pull up the stream. It says it's good on this end. Can you guys hear me okay though? All right. So overall, this is what we're anticipating for gold, is to get to this 2082 levels based on the monthly time frame. So we can anticipate the month of November to be increasingly bullish, potentially breaking this 2082 levels. And we got a lot of volume this week. Now, what did we see happen previously last week on the weekly time frame? The past 3 weeks. So it's taken literally only 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks to correct 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 weeks of volume. Mind you, it took 26 weeks just to correct this impulsive move we had here. So we have an impulsive move up, corrective structure. Following the corrective structure, we reach a level of resistance in the markets. We get another impulsive move up. After the impulsive move up, corrective structure. And you can tell by how much volume is in these corrective structures. Obviously, on the larger time frame, we understand this as price creating higher highs and higher lows. And these impulsive moves are just the moves to create new highs. That's why we believe 2082, like I said, would get broken, because these past 3 weeks of volume have wiped out the past 26 weeks roughly. And now we can see gold continue in the direction of the larger time frame trend. So coming on to the daily, how will we capitalize on this move? How will we secure positions on gold? I'm looking only for gold buys, and the more recent level that we can expect gold to go to is roughly 2050 to 2035, depending on how much volume we have in the week. We're expecting a lot of volume, and we could make a push for 2082, but I think that's likely that we'll see that at the start of the next monthly with November. So for this week, targets for me are going to be at this roughly 2050 highs, and I may look to take positions up to this 2035 level. I'll look to see how price action is for that, but how I'll actually get in and scale into this position here, you can see that gold created a new high after breaking this previous high on the 4-hour time frame. So in order for me to be able to get into this move, I need to first see a corrective structure form for gold. Now, what this corrective structure means is when we dial down to the smaller time frame, we will see lower lows and lower highs get created on the smaller time frame. Now, my goal is not to execute as soon as we get a bullish signal. I want to see one of these highs get taken out on the smaller time frame to indicate that price is now bullish, clearing this high here, and a bullish indication, a corrective structure and a bullish indication. That will not guarantee, but that to me will confirm that this corrective structure is now over and price is going from now a corrective structure to now a bullish structure, and we can expect a potential impulsive bullish move back up to our key target here. So what I'll be doing is early in the week, I'll just be monitoring price action, waiting for a potential corrective structure that we can look to capitalize on these moves. Now, where can we potentially see these changes of character happen? We could see it potentially here at 1997 levels, which was our target from the previous week, which was this key high here. We can see a corrective structure to this 1997 levels. We could even see a corrective structure down here to these 1984 levels of demand here. And I would actually really like a pullback to this level, but since there's so much volume in the markets, it's not likely that we will get this deep of a corrective structure. We got an impulsive move up. We can see a steep corrective structure, but it'll likely be a 50% correction. So we'll just have to watch key levels of support or resistance here in the markets, roughly at, let's say, 1991 and 1997, and then at this key level of demand here at 1984 to secure or wait for that change of character on our smaller time frame. And we'll go ahead and take entries up to 2035, 2050, and then our larger time frame target at that 2082 in the next couple of within the next couple of months. Now, I haven't personally been keeping up with what's been going on in the world is following the war that we have going on, and this can tremendously affect the price of gold and more so add volume to these gold moves. And so that does obviously is based on structure, but that can have an effect on why we're seeing so much volume at the time that we're seeing it. So though it was structurally based, this is gold is a commodity that in times of need people buy. So, and we just know throughout time, gold just continues to go higher and higher. More recently, we know structurally that gold created a high at 2081. We got a corrective structure and an impulsive move up. Even if we do see a slight corrective structure form, it would be likely, and this would be on the weekly time frame. So that means that the monthly would be forming a bottom wick and then fill this wick, this candle to the upside here, and break 2082 within the month of November. That's my anticipation, and that's why I'll continue to look for buys on gold and just to scale in this position. And I actually want to be able to get a position to hold long. So for this week, I know I tell you guys my goals for each week. This week I purchased 2 new funding challenges. I want to continue to grow my funding capital. For a while I had put off, continuing to grow my funding capital. I haven't really dived into more challenges after my Forex funds. I just been trading the funded accounts that I have, but I think it's imperative to continue to reinvest profits into funding accounts, into growing your funding capital, because the goal is to have a large amount of funding capital and multiple accounts with working with these funded firms will allow you to diversify your income. And what I mean by that is, like, if I have, let's say, and I made a video on it that'll be posted shortly, that would you take rather a 400k account or 4 100k accounts? So 1 400k account or 4 100k accounts. And I personally would take 4 100k accounts over 1 400k account, and specifically because I don't have to trade all the accounts. And let's say I have 1 or 2 accounts in drawdown, the other 2 accounts can be in profit and I could still receive a payout on those other 2 accounts. And then vices, if I just have the 1 400k account, now if that account is in drawdown, I have to work to get out of drawdown on that account. Also, if I lose that account, I lose all of my capital. If I just lose 1 or 2 of the accounts, I still maintain some capital that I can, get payouts in and reinvest into more challenges. So I think it's better. And then especially diversifying your portfolio of firms, the firms that you choose to trade. I have a couple that I'm looking to max out, and I'll get into more of that as the weeks go on. But that I think is important. So I have 2 new challenges that I'm taking, and I'm looking to execute on these gold moves. And that's why I'm so adamant about gold specifically. But these are actually the trades that I'm going to take. So I only show you guys the things that I'm looking at and the things that I'm actively going to trade. I don't show you guys analysis just to show you analysis. I do think that showing you analysis helps throughout these different pairs, and I definitely love to help you guys out with that. But I definitely like to dial into the ones that I'm actively trading, because I'll be able to show you specifically how I'm going to capitalize. So, and I think that's really important. It's one thing to analyze the charts and being able to understand where the markets could go, but it's another thing to be able to capitalize for yourself and understand how to capitalize based off of understanding where markets go. So once you learn structure, then it comes to how do I capitalize on these moves. If I understand that GBP USD could potentially fill this imbalance to the downside, how can I get in that's going to give me the best risk to reward, but still give me a safe stop loss to put my entries? So entries are very, very crucial when it comes to trading. It's one thing to understand the structure. It's another thing to be able to execute on it. So that's why I'm so adamant on breaking down, just the trades that and the moves that I'm looking for. Now, specifically for EURUSD, let's take a look at it here. I like EURUSD to the downside to break 1.04558 levels. So that for me is the next move. Despite EURUSD creating this new high up here, the overall structure has been bearish, and I believe that we're just seeing a corrective wave, and now we will see a potential break out of this. We already kind of have seen a break out of these lows here for price to create a new low. We got ourselves a corrective structure. I think it's likely that EURUSD can retest, even filling up into this imbalance, and then come back to break these lows. It's likely that we won't see it go all the way that high though, but I'm definitely looking, next moves is for EURUSD to come to this 1.04855 levels. I don't know if you guys were on here last week. We spoke on these levels getting broken for AUD/USD, and we seen after we had an impulsive move to the upside that cleared these highs, filling this imbalance here, that price did in fact push back down impulsively, creating a new low, breaking these lows here, indicating that this overall structure is still bearish and that we can see a likely new creation of a low here for AUD/USD. And I'm gonna have to start showing you guys the before and after from the previous videos, because it's important that you understand that, for one, these structures don't move but so fast. It takes quite some time for them to move, but to be able to see the before and then the after, you start to understand, you start to be able to see it for yourself, and so that you can predict it before. It's one thing to say something after, but to see the whole process going from start to finish, I think for me is what helped me the most in my trading journey. So next moves for AUD/USD, if we don't see this imbalance get filled up here, it's likely we see a continued push down to break these previous lows, and that's what I would expect for AUD/USD. And pretty much copy and paste on majority of these charts. You can see we had these lows taken out here for NZD/USD. We had a corrective structure form on the 4-hour time frame. We're getting on Friday a bullish impulsive move after retesting here. You can see that we had a corrective structure. Volume started to slow up as we neared this resistance. It filled this imbalance here, got a 4-hour candle close bearish, another one to close bearish. It's likely that we go ahead and take out these lows here on NZD/USD at 0.5772 levels, and I have an overall target down here at this zone. So you can, if we zoom out here, we just have resistance in this area that I think is likely, and let's go to the larger time frame so you can see it a little clearer. There you go. So we have resistance here, and then we also have the daily level of demand at the bottom here. You can see we had this impulsive move up for NZD/USD, and it's just been a slow move to the downside. So I believe that as we get closer and closer down here, we could potentially see a bullish impulsive move for NZD/USD to break out of some of these larger time frame structures. Now, obviously, if this low gets broken here, we will continue to see this go down. But as we understand waves, we have an impulsive move up here that broke this previous high, impulsive move, And now what we're seeing, what seems to be a corrective structure, and why I say a corrective structure is because it's a slow, low volume move to the downside here to correct this impulsive move that we've had to the upside. And so in the next couple of months, we can be looking out for potential bullish moves. But, early on in the week, we capitalize on the 1 and 4 hour time frame. I just like to give an overall understanding of the larger time frame structure. We can see the next moves for NZD USD is to 0.5772 levels, 7772 levels, and potentially breaking and creating a new low there. So that's what we would anticipate here, and a continued move down back into this key level of resistance. NAS 100. NAS has just been pretty much a falling knife here, continuing to create lower lows and lower highs. So I would only be looking for sales on NAS if you're looking to trade NAS to the downside, unless we get some impulsively bullish moves. I think it's just best to continue following the direction of this current trend, which is to the downside. Now we could see this imbalance get filled up here, but if this resistance holds, it's likely that we just see a continued push down. If we do see a break and closure above, we could see this entire move get corrected, especially to at least to resistance here. So we'd have to keep an eye out for that. I still really wouldn't be looking to buy NAS though. I think sales would be, your best bet. Will give you your largest, it'll be the safest trade and give you a higher risk to reward than potentially capitalizing on these buys, which have a potential cap out at up here when finishing the imbalance. Obviously they can run long, but it's more likely that we see some type of resistance here and here and price to break for new lows. And when it breaks for new lows, there's no telling. Well, obviously we would have to look at the larger time frame for resistance, but it'll give you a larger run, I guess you can say, there for NAS 100. So we could take a look at US 30. US 30, likewise, you could just see that it's creating lower lows and lower highs. Just created a new low here on the 4 hour time frame. Really wouldn't look to just hop into this. For me, I would want to see some type of corrective structure form before hopping into this move here, at least to resistance, and up here would be the best, so that you can see these lows get taken out. There's nothing yet that's indicated. Let's dial down to a smaller time frame. Okay, so we had a high get broken here on the smaller time frame, so we could potentially start to see a larger time frame corrective structure, or a smaller time frame, shall I say, corrective structure form, and then a continued move down. We did just see this high get broken, but like I said, I wouldn't look to take buys on this, and would just look to see where we can get entries on this continued move to the downside. And the best potential bet would be waiting for a potential 4 hour corrective structure to form, and then a continued sell to the downside to clear whatever the low ends up being. It's not guaranteed that this is going to be the low and that price is reversing off of here. We do have a smaller time frame confirmation, but the larger time frame overall indicates where price is going, and this 4 hour time frame closed bearish, excuse me. So if the first 4 hour candle closes bullish, especially as a bullish engulfing, then you can start to see that corrective structure form, and then I would look for sales on the 1 hour time frame once you get that confirmation, that change of character at resistance that we talked about earlier. So USD JPY, we were trading USD JPY a while back when it was in this bullish wave up to these highs, anticipating price to go, and USD JPY has continued to push bullish, but I just haven't been a fan of the structure, especially more recently. This is the daily time frame, not too much volume going on here. Obviously it has been creating higher highs and higher lows on the smaller time frame, but not very easy price action to read as far as scaling in on this bullish move to the upside. And nothing that I'm really looking to capitalize on or execute on there. So I haven't taken a look at USD CAD. Obviously for the past month we've only just been focusing on gold, but you can see for USD CAD, it looks like USD CAD is attempting to break for new highs here. We have some resistance within these levels that price just closed above previously on the daily time frame. Let's take a look on the weekly time frame. Oh, see, on the weekly time frame, this actually looks really good, especially if this week we get a break and closure above these levels here. we can see this monthly start to create, or the next monthly, excuse me, start to create new highs. You can see how this monthly looks like it's going to close above this resistance here, and the next targets would be up here. So we can expect USD CAD to potentially be bullish in the next couple of months. Now the current monthly, oh, it does have a bottom wick. So yeah, if we close, even if we don't close, we have this impulsive move up, a corrective structure on the monthly time frame, and now we're starting to get a break. It's likely that we start to see some volume come into the markets in the month of November. So I will be looking out for some potentially great moves for the month of November, anticipating these larger time frame structural breakouts, especially like with gold and with USD CAD breaking these larger time frame structures. We know that with USD JPY a while back ago, when we got a breakout back in I think it was 2020, it was March. So yeah, March. So when we got this breakout back in March of 2022, so it was like March 18th, I believe was the exact date that I had mentioned. So yeah, within the month of March, when we broke out here and we had all of this impulsive move for USD JPY on the monthly time frame, we knew for the next couple of months and potentially years that USD JPY was going to target potentially these highs here, and then we started looking at these highs here. And you can go back in the Telegram, and I should pin it realistically, that we sent this move, a swing setup that USD JPY can go to target these highs here. So when you start to break these larger time frame structures, you can expect some volume to continue out in within the markets, which generally gives us some good risk to reward moves. So when we have this breakout here in the monthly closing bullish above this level, we can expect the next monthly to carry out with that volume, and that monthly would be the month of November. So we're expecting some good moves, especially following the volume from this month of October. The month of October was really, really bullish for gold, extremely bullish actually. We see the past 3 weeks has wiped out the past 26 weeks of volume that we've seen, and gold looking to push for new highs. So this is the one that I will be targeting, and this is this week's plan. So like we've been doing, for every other week, I'll be updating you guys in the Telegram on this move, where I anticipate gold to go, when I'm actually looking to execute on the move, if we get our corrective structure, where I'll look to take positions, the whole 9 yards will be in the Telegram. So I appreciate you guys tapping in, and let's have an amazing week.